What's up guys, DarkArmedDuelist and Technically doing a Blue Eyes Chaos Max Dragon deck profile. So I'm really excited for you guys because Blue Eyes Chaos Max is just an incredibly powerful boss monster that's super fun to be able to summon out to the field because of just how powerful this boss monster is. With the Drytron package we're playing in this deck, it makes it super consistent, and this deck is hands down one of my favorite decks to be able to play with. So without further ado guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards, like your name script in a single video, getting a signed cards in the mail, and even getting to request a deck profile every single month you're a patron. So without further ado, let's get straight on into this. So first off, we're going to be playing one of the coolest boss monsters in the entire game, and that's going to be 3 copies of Blue Eyes Chaos Max Dragon. This card is absolutely incredible. It has the ability that you can ritual summon this card with Chaos form, and it must be ritual summoned and cannot be special summoned by other ways. It cannot be targeted or destroyed by your opponent's card effects, and if this card attacks a defensive monster, you inflict double piercing damage to your opponent. That is absolutely insane on a 4,000 attack point ritual monster that if you attack into a monster with 0 defense points, you instantly OTK your opponent because they will take 8,000 points of damage. That is absolutely insane. I then play 2 copies of Blue Eyes Chaos Dragon. Blue Eyes Chaos Dragon is a good 2-of in the deck to be able to back up your Chaos Max Dragon. It has the ability you can ritual summon this card with Chaos form, and it must be ritual summoned, and your opponent cannot target this card with card effects, and it also cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects either, just like your copy of Blue Eyes Chaos Max. But this card has a really good effect that if this ritual summon card using a Blue Eyes White Dragon is on the field, when it declares an attack, then you can change the battle position of as many monsters your opponent controls as possible, and if you do, the attack and defense of all those monsters become 0 for the rest of the turn. Also, this turn, if this card attacks a defensive monster, you inflict piercing damage, which is really cool. So basically you attack with this card, shift a monster in defense position, drop its defense to 0, and then swing in with Chaos Max to end the game, which is really cool. I then play 3 copies of Blue Eyes White Dragon. This card is really good in the deck to be able to use with your copy of Advanced Ritual Art, to reveal in your hand to summon out your copy of Alternative White Dragon, or to be able to banish from the graveyard for your copy of Chaos form, to summon out either your Blue Eyes Chaos Dragon or your Chaos Max Dragon. I then play a single copy of Blue Eyes Alternative White Dragon. Alternative White Dragon is a good 1-of in the deck that's searchable off your Melody of a White Awakening Dragon, and it has the ability that you can reveal a Blue Eyes White Dragon in your hand to special summon this card to your side of the field, and then once per turn you can target one monster your opponent controls, destroy that card, but this card cannot attack the turn you activate that effect. We then play 3 copies of Drytron Alpha Thubin. The Drytron monsters are absolutely insane in this deck, and they all share the exact same effect but have a unique effect of what they do after you summon them. So the way you summon out these cards is they cannot be normal summoner set, they must be special summoned with the effect of a Drytron card. Now all of them share that ability, and this card and all of your other Drytron monsters share the ability that you contribute one other Drytron monster or a ritual monster from your hand or field to special summon this card from your hand or graveyard in defense position, and then you get a unique effect. Now Alpha Thubin's unique effect is that you get to add a ritual monster from your deck to your hand, and you cannot special summon monsters except monsters that cannot be normal summoner set the turn that you activate this effect, which all of your Drytron monsters share that ability. But this card's unique effect is when it's special summoned, you get to add a ritual monster from your deck to your hand, which is a crazy awesome effect. We then play 3 copies of Drytron Zeta. Zeta is really good. It has the exact same effect as your copy of Alpha Thubin, but this card searches your ritual spells instead of your ritual monsters, which is why we play it as a 3-of. I then play 2 copies of Drytron Gamma. Gamma is a good 2-of in the deck with a really good effect that it has the ability that if this card is special summoned from your hand or graveyard in defense position, then you can special summon a Drytron monster with 2,000 attack from your graveyard, except another copy of this card to help you go in for some Link plays or even some XZ plays in the deck. I then play a single copy of Delta. Delta is just a 1-of to me in this deck, and has the ability if this card is summoned, then you reveal a ritual monster or a ritual spell in your hand, and if you do, you get to draw a card. card, which is a really good effect, but being able to roll through your copies of Gamma, Delta, Zeta, and Alpha is super easy in the deck to be able to do, which is why I play them at this number. But I feel like searching your ritual spell and your ritual monster is the most important, which is why I play Zeta and Alpha at 3 each. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to be playing 2 copies of Drytron Fafnir. Drytron Fafnir is a great field spell that has the ability, when this card is activated, you can add a Drytron spell from your deck to your hand, except another copy of this card, which is a great effect to be able to do. This card also is very similar to Magical Meltdown, with the ability that the activation and activated effects of ritual spell cards cannot be negated. Just kind of like Magical Meltdown, but for ritual monsters. And it also has the ability, once per turn, if a monster is normal or special summoned face up while you control a Drytron monster, then you can reduce that monster's level by 1 and per 1,000 of its current attack points, which is a pretty good effect to be able to use on this card. I then play just a single copy of Meteonis Drytron. This card is a really good one of in the deck to be able to ritual summon out some really powerful cards. 2 copies of Chaos Form. Chaos Form is a crazy powerful ritual spell. You can banish a Blue Eyes White Dragon from your graveyard to summon out either one of your Blue Eyes Chaos Dragons, which is really insane. I then play 3 copies of Advanced Ritual Art because it's super easy to be able to use this card to ritual summon out your Blue Eyes Chaos Max Dragon, because it has the ability to send a Blue Eyes White Dragon from your deck to the grave to then special summon out your ritual monster from your hand, which is a really, really good effect. I then play 3 copies of Drytron Nova. Drytron Nova has the ability to special summon out a Drytron monster from your deck, but destroy it during the end phase. But this card is basically like a quick launch for the deck, or an E-Telly for the deck, to special summon out a Drytron from the deck to be able to start all your plays. We then play 3 copies of Cyber Emergency. Cyber Emergency, you might be looking at this card and going, wait, you're not playing Cyber Dragons. Why are you playing Cyber Emergency? Well, the reason for that is the first line of text. You get to add a Light Machine monster that cannot be normal summoned or set to your hand, which all of your Drytron monsters cannot be normal summoned or set. So this card is actually a Drytron support card as well, because you can search any of them from deck to hand off this card's effect. We then play 3 copies of the Melody of Awakening Dragon. You discard a card from your hand to add up to 2 dragon-type monsters with 3,000 or more attack and 2,500 or less defense, which is your Blue Eyes Chaos Dragon, Blue Eyes Chaos Max Dragon, Alternative White Dragon, or Blue Eyes White Dragon itself, that you can add off this card's effect, which is absolutely crazy. And by discarding any of your Drytron monsters, they're still all live in the graveyard, so you can discard any of those cards to the grave and then use them from grave anyway. So this card is basically free to get a 2 search, which is really cool. We then play 3 copies of Trade-In. Trade-In is a really good 3 of in the deck that has the ability to discard any level 8 from your hand to be able to draw 2 cards to help you dig into the deck. By discarding a copy of Blue Eyes White Dragon that you don't need in your hand, you can then draw 2 cards, because then you can use it with your copy of Chaos Form to be able to banish it and go in for a Blue Eyes Chaos Max. I then play 3 copies of Dark Ruler No More. This card is really good to be able to go up against a lot of decks right now, and it negates the effects of all face-up monsters that your opponent controls until the end of the turn, and also for the rest of the turn, after this card resolves, your opponent takes no battle damage, and neither player can activate monster effects in response to this card's activation. This card is a really good speed spell to be able to stop your opponent from using monster effects while you're going in for your copy of Chaos Max and all of your Drytron plays, which is really, really good. This card is absolutely insane in the deck. Your opponent won't take damage, but being able to go in for a Chaos Max, clean the whole board, and then go into the next turn to be able to go in for game is totally easy in the deck and a really good play. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we don't go into the extra deck all that often, but it is a really good toolbox. So we're going to start off with a single copy of Mu Beta Fafnir. I just play a single copy of this card because I don't feel like I go into it that much in the deck. 1 copy seems to work extremely well in the deck, and it has the ability that when you ritual summon, you can detach materials from this card as a monster's requirement for the ritual summon. And you can only use each of the following effects of this card once per turn. That if this XZ summon card, if this card is XZ summon, then you can send a Drytron card from your deck to the graveyard, which is a pretty good effect. And then play a single copy of number 97, because number 97 helps us go in for an OTK. Now this card I actually go into quite a lot in the extra deck, which is why I play this card, but it's a really good card to help us OTK, because you just basically detach a material from this card, and then you take 2 dragons from your extra deck with different names, and you overlay one with the other one. So you can either make a copy of number 38 to negate spell effects, or you can make number 100 to be able to go in for a 9 9,000 attack point monster, because it will gain attack points equal times 1,000 times the rank of the monsters on the field, which is going to be a minimum of 9 because its own rank is 1, and then your copy of number 97 is a rank 8, so you can really easily OTK the opponent. And then play a single copy of a number 92. Number 92 is in here because you can make it off of your number 97, and it's just a really good option overall in the deck to be able to make. I also play a single copy of Assembled Nightingale so we can step into Zeus, one copy of Downer Magician because you can step into the copy of Assembled Nightingale with the, or you can step into, you can use Assembled Nightingale to step into this, and then step into your copy of Zeus to be able to make Zeus, which is really good to board wipe the field. And then play a single copy of Access Code, just in case we need to make it. It is an option if you want to play it. You can't play Boral Sword because it's pretty easy to put multiple monsters on the field. So this card is a really good option to be able to pop cards. So you can go in with Chaos Max, which is just really cool. But you can play Boral Sword if you want another OTK machine in the deck. We then play a single copy of Unicorn to spin stuff, IP Masquerade and make Unicorn during the opponent's turn to spin cards during the opponent's turn, and then a single copy of Geonator. Geonator is probably the most important card in the entire extra deck, because depending on if your opponent is playing with the zones correctly, depends on if you automatically win. Because this card has the ability that this link summon card, or this linked card and monsters it points to, cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. And if this card points to 2 monsters, then you can switch control of those monsters. So basically, if you put this card in either extra monster zone, and this arrow right here points to an opponent's monster, you can switch one of your Drytron monsters over to the opponent that has 0 defense because they all special summon in defense position, and then attack into it with the Chaos Max to go do an OTK, which is really cool. We then play a single copy of Cross Sheet because of its ritual effect to draw 2 and then discard 2, just to help us dig into the deck, and also Drytrons don't really care if they're in the graveyard. One copy of Link Rebo because you can make it off of your Drytron monsters to be able to protect your Chaos Max from being destroyed by battle by dropping an opponent's monster's attack points down to 0. And then finally, a single copy of Relinquished Anima, which is really cool. Because if they do put it in those zones that the copy of Geonator can't pick, you can just make Anima and take the monster, making only their far most right zone safe, which is kind of funny. So, that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you did enjoy it. It's a super fun deck to be able to play with. If you guys have never played with Chaos Max, you definitely should give the deck a try. It's super fun to be able to summon out that crazy powerful boss monster. And with the Drytron package in this deck, it just makes it really fun to be able to OTK the opponent. So, anyways, guys, this is DarkArmedDuelist. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell in there so you can become part of the notification squad, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.